You'll never buy roasted pork belly from a restaurant again. I couldn't believe my air fryer could do this until I tried it. This is the loudest, crispiest, juiciest Thịt Heo Quay you'll ever make at home.
If there's one dish that just brings everyone together and completely swaps the room in a Vietnamese household, it's this one. Growing up, Heo Quay was just for weddings or big celebrations, but today, I'm gonna show you how to get that restaurant quality crunch on a random weeknight right at home. Thịt Heo Quay is what we call roasted pork belly. So let's start off by talking about our pork. Today, I'm using this big slab of pork belly with the skin on. This one is about 3 or 4 pounds, which to be honest is pretty big for my family. And although I'm down to have roasted pork belly for the rest of the week, you do want to be mindful of the size. Because we're going to be cooking this in the air fryer, you want to make sure that this piece is going to fit into the air fryer basket because you still want a little bit of room for the air to circulate in there. So when you're buying your pork belly, it's very important that you choose a piece that's even in height. You don't want a piece that's lopsided because that's going to affect how the skin crisps up, and it's going to result in some areas that's crispy and others that are not. And secondly, if you can get boneless pork belly with the skin on, that's going to be the best result, okay? The piece I have today is actually bone-in, which isn't my first choice, but that's okay. It's going to cook exactly the same. We just have to be a little bit mindful later when we're chopping it to work around the bone. So the first thing that you need to do is clean your pork belly. I've already washed it and patted it dry, but you're gonna wanna continue to pat it dry because that's very important to this dish. And if you do see that there's any debris or little pieces of hair on your pork belly, you're gonna wanna just use your knife and just gently scrape, just to get it as clean as you can. Okay, so once we have our piece of pork nice and clean, let's flip it over. And using a knife, let's just lightly score it so that when we put the marinade on, it's gonna be able to penetrate it more deeply. Like I mentioned, the piece I have does have bone in it, so I'm gonna try to go as deep as I can. But if you're working with a boneless piece, it should be a little bit easier. You don't want it too deep. You probably just wanna get like 1 centimeter in there. Okay, now we're ready to marinate this thing. I'm gonna be using a dry rub of salt, 5 spice powder, and a little bit of sweet paprika. And we want to rub this all over the sides and the bottom part of the meat only. Do not put this on the skin because we have a different preparation for that. Okay, that's looking good. Let's flip it back over. Okay, now we're gonna work on the skin. I'm gonna show you a few hacks to get that restaurant quality crunch. So in order to get that nice, crispy crackling, we're gonna have to puncture the skin. I didn't really know about this technique until I started making this dish, but it's this crucial step that really sets Cantonese roasted pork, or heo quay, apart from other roasted pork preparations. Across the world, there's a lot of different kinds of roasted pork, right? The Filipinos have their lechon, the Hawaiians have their luau pork, and even the Italians have porchetta. But you'll notice that the skin is very different between the Cantonese or Vietnamese version versus all the other ones. The Cantonese or Vietnamese one has skin that's kind of like this bubbly, crispy texture. It's crispy, but it's still soft to bite into. It's not like a hard chew. Whereas lechon or porchetta, it's a little bit of a chewier bite, and it's more of a crunch than a crisp. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but let me know in the comments below if you've had these other preparations and you know what I'm talking about. So in order for us to get that beautiful texture, we're gonna have to puncture the skin. And we're gonna be using a tool called a meat tenderizer to help us do that. You don't have this tool, you can use a fork and just go at it, but there's a lot more points of contact here, right? And the points are a little bit more fine, which is gonna help you just do the work a little bit more evenly. So just go ahead and work that across the entire surface area of the pork. So as you can see, pork belly rind is very, very thick. Without this step and without puncturing these holes, steam's gonna get trapped inside. So when you're puncturing the skin, you're pretty much creating thousands and thousands of little escape routes for the steam and the fat. And when the fat gets a chance to rise and render out of the skin, this skin is pretty much just deep frying in its own fat, which sounds amazing. Okay, next we're gonna brush a really light layer of white vinegar onto the skin. Vinegar is a natural tenderizer that's going to help break down the collagen in the skin a little bit more. And that's gonna help us draw out more moisture, and it's gonna help the skin dehydrate more evenly. And after that, we're gonna apply a layer of salt onto the skin. If you have kosher salt, that's probably the best, but I just have some table salt here, which is fine. So after about 30 minutes, you're gonna notice that the surface of this pork belly is gonna start to sweat, like little beads of water is gonna start to show up. And what you wanna do is continually just get a piece of paper and continue dabbing it whenever you can, okay? Whenever you see liquid starting to pool up, just dab it. This recipe actually requires that we leave this piece of meat in the fridge uncovered overnight. Through the magic of television, here's a piece of pork belly that I already prepared last night. So this piece was sitting in the fridge overnight and I kept continually blotting it whenever I saw moisture come out. The color is a little bit different. You see how it's like a little bit more opaque and less shiny, whereas this piece, which hasn't been dehydrated, the skin is still looking very translucent and plump. I don't know, I feel like this is a very good demo if you're trying to sell like skincare. This is what your skin looks like over 30, ladies. Because we're gonna be air frying it at such a high temperature, we don't want the entire piece to dry out. So we're gonna make an aluminum foil boat to protect the sides from drying out while still allowing the top to really get that high temperature and crisp up. This is one of those dishes that is best eaten fresh because you wanna eat that nice crispy skin soon after it comes out. You wanna really time the cook so that it's ready just before you're ready to eat. We're going to pop this into the air fryer around 380 for 45 minutes. We're gonna continually check on it, just ensure that the skin is cooking evenly, okay? Now, I will give credit to Cantonese cuisine for this one because I really believe that that's where the Vietnamese people learned how to make this dish. And with the influx of Chinese immigrants to Vietnam in the early to mid 1900s, it makes sense that this dish made its way to Vietnam. It's prepared in pretty much the same way. In Cantonese cuisine, it's often served over rice or at a banquet. But today, I'm gonna serve this roasted pork belly with something that's quintessentially Vietnamese, and that is Bánh Hỏi. Bánh Hỏi is like a fine rice vermicelli. It's often woven into small bundles, and when you eat it, you kind of just take these smaller bundles and they're like bite-sized. So it gives a really nice chewy and bouncy texture, which is very different than the texture that you get from just eating loose vermicelli. Back in the day in North America, it used to be really hard to come across Bánh Hỏi, and if you wanted it for some special occasion, you would have to order it from a caterer, or if you have someone in your family that knows how to make it, it's super laborious. But I think in the last decade or so, this brand has become really popular in Vietnamese households and has allowed people to make their own Bánh Hỏi at home. And as popular as it is, the probability of user error on this product is very, very high. So they have these instructions at the back, right? And I think they know that a lot of people screw this up. So look, they also put these huge instructions on the side. They advertise that it's faster to cook than instant noodles. But no, it's actually really hard, yo. But I've actually come up with my own method, which I think is more foolproof than what's written on these instructions. So what I like to do instead is I have a wok of boiling water just going on continually on the stove. And I use a steamer tray to place these noodles inside. I dunk it in for 1 minute and 15 seconds, take it out, and because the water's still going, I can continue to do that again and again without having to boil water. And I think this method has worked way better for me, and it allows me to make this without losing my mind.
People always ask about the name Bánh Hỏi. In Vietnamese, hỏi literally means to ask. Some say it's because people were constantly asking what these beautiful, intricate noodles were. But the true story is much more romantic. In southern Vietnam, Bánh Hỏi and roasted pork are the stars of Đám Hỏi, which is what we call our engagement ceremony. When the groom's family visits the brides to officially ask for her hand, they bring a roasted pig as a ceremonial gift. That meat is later served with Bánh Hỏi to all the relatives and guests, kinda as a way to announce a new union to the community.
Actually, let me show you something. Here's a photo of us at my very own Đám Hỏi and my beautiful arrangement of gifts. Look at my mom. She happily traded me for a huge pig and a couple bottles of Hennessy. I mean, I guess I kind of get it. So after about 40 to 45 minutes, our roasted pork is done. Whoa, look at how beautiful that skin is. Oh my goodness, it's like pure magic. All right, let's let it hang out on this wire rack for 15 minutes to kind of cool down. And guys, listen to this. All right, it's time to chop up this beauty. Grab a heavy cleaver and cut with intention. Confidence is key here, okay? One clean strike is pure satisfaction. Oh my God, look how juicy this is. Smells so good. The skin's perfectly crispy, but the meat is still juicy, succulent, and delicious. Let's give it a taste. Really good. And ta-da! Here's my gorgeous platter of Heo Quay and Bánh Hỏi with all the trimmings.
And I didn't need to marry some dude either.
Guys, doesn't this look amazing? My entire kitchen smells like a Chinese barbecue shop right now. So in order to make this a very balanced Vietnamese meal, we're serving the Bánh Hỏi and Heo Quay roasted pork with some herbs, some pickled carrots and daikon, a little bit of nước mắm chấm fish sauce, and of course, some scallion oil to garnish our noodles as well. And if you haven't checked out my video on how to make these essentials, I'm gonna link it right here for you. All right, let's have a taste. Do you hear that crunch? Oh my gosh. I swear I'm never gonna buy roasted pork outside again. Let's try our Bánh Hỏi too, okay? And that's another dinner. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And don't be intimidated. You can totally do this. It was so easy. You're gonna be shocked at what a good cook you are. If you like what I'm doing, don't forget to hit like and also the hype button. It's gonna help this video reach more people who love Vietnamese home cooking. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Oh, and subscribe too.